So, you know how we always get our dressage test papers and we look at them just after the competition and we're like, okay, I got a 6, I got a 6.5, I got a 7, and when you see 7s, you're like, yay, got a 7, and when you see less than 6, you're like, oh, not good. And you read the comments of the judges and you have these comments and okay, so you tell yourself, okay, so I guess I have to work on this. But most of the time, we never go further than that. And at least that's what I did, and that's what I see my dressage riders do, because I'm also a dressage instructor, and that's what I see my friends do. You see, you know, you get your papers, you get your tests, you look at them, okay, and that's it. But since I started like really working on my dressage paper tests, I have seen a big difference, guys, and that's what I want to share with you today, because I have not only gotten better as a rider, but also I have started getting better grades. So without further ado, let's jump into my computer so that I show you how I use the dressage test, how to put this into action. It's very easy, you will see, and it will help you a lot. Okay guys, so this is the Google Sheet that I created so that I can really use my dressage test papers in the best way possible. First thing that I did was I just copied every single movement of my test. You know, I took my dressage paper test and I copied them. So the first movement, as always, enter at A, X, halt, salute, etc, etc. Then I wrote in this line the number of judges that I had per competition. Like for this competition, I have already done 1, 2, 3 competitions in 2019. So for this competition I had 2 judges, this one I had 3 judges, this one I had 2 judges. And I copied every single note that they had given me. So now we're going to color code, and here's where things become really interesting. So what I'm going to do is that every time that I get a 7 or more, I'm going to color code this in green, because of course this is like a very good grade for me, guys. So I'm going just to choose every 7 that I have. Okay, so those are the best grades that I have had, and this gives me already something really interesting. Is that here I've never had a 7, here I just only had 1, here I only had 1, and okay, now we're going to go for the grades that are not very good. So I did 2 different color codings. Every time that I get less than a 6, for me it's not acceptable. So I know that sometimes I've had gotten 4s, like in here. So for me a 4, it's like a real big no. And the thing is that at least I know that every single time that I have gotten a 4, it's because something really, like, I know why I had it. It's like something not normal happened. So for the 4s, I am going to color code it in red, of course. Just checking out that I didn't leave out any 4s. Nope, I didn't. And so now what I'm going to do is that between 4 and 6, everything that is 5, 5, 5, it's going to go in orange. Oh, here it's a green one also that I forgot. So let's do the 5 and the 5, 5s. Okay, so now that I have color coded my whole tests, I start analyzing every single movement. And if I look at this moment, for example, movement number 4, which is half pass to the left, I see that I only had gotten a 7, and even though I don't have 5s, I know that I can get a 7. So this is something that I have to strive for. I really have to look for these grades to go into 7, because I have been able to do it once. So I know that I can do it again. So I'm going to color code this in red so that I know that this is one of the movements that I have to work on. Same thing here. As you can see, I don't have a 7 at all, and I even have a 5. and this is the half pass to the left. So I am going to color code this in red. Also, I continue looking at my different color codings. Okay, so for example, this one, again, I only have a 7, which means that I can have a 7, and I even have a 5-5. So this is something that I really have to work on, because as I'm telling you guys, if a judge gave me a 7 once, this means that I can get a 7 on this movement. So I have to work this movement to get it better. Same thing here. I have a 7 and I have a 5. So this is also a movement I have to work on. And like, for example, this one is another one. You see, I have 2 7s and I have 5-5. So this is not acceptable. This is another movement I'm going to work on. Okay, so what's interesting is that before I did this work with my dressage test and with the Google Sheet, I was really working at home only on canter. I know that my horse has lots of difficulties keeping his balance on canter and not going into a 4-beat canter. He was bred to jump, he was not bred to do dressage, and sometimes dressage is difficult for him. So I was really concentrating myself on that and concentrating myself on walk periods. So now that I see where the judges are telling me, be careful, you can work on this like better, like you can get a 7 here, so there's no reason why I haven't gotten a 7 again. It's like here, it's not only I have never had a 7, but I had a 5, and I see that these are both half passes, and this was something that I was not really working on. It's like, of course I trained them, but I was not really training them in detail as I was training, for example, the walk pirouette. So I know now that I have to pay attention to this movement. When I'm working at home, I have to be working on this. Afterwards, you can see that, okay, so 2 times it's straightening my horse on the canter, so this was something that I was already working on. But pretty interesting, I have a 20-meter circle in extended canter, and the one that it's to the left, it's not good. It's like, as you can see, I don't have very good grades. It's like once I have a 7, so I can get better here. Whereas if I look at the other circle, on the other hand, I have 3 7s. So yeah, I know that this one I have to work on. So the next thing that I did is that I copied the comments that the judges gave me, so that I know exactly what they are looking for and what they are telling me be careful with. Like, for example, with both half passes, they're asking me for more incurvation, more crossing. Yeah, it's like incurvation, incurvation, incurvation. So I know that this is something that I have to work on my half passes, like really getting my horse in incurvation when I'm doing this movement. And this is the way that I'm going to get some 7s here. As for the straightening of the canter, which is here and here, they're always talking about activity. So I have to be careful when I am straightening my canter to keep the activity. So guys, yeah, this is the way that I really analyze my dressage test papers. And when I did this exercise, I was pretty interested because I was almost sure that every time that I had my walking pirouettes, like here is a walking pirouette, that was something that I had to really work on. And as you can see, I have 3 7s here. And also, I know that, like, for example, when I enter my test, I had very, very good grades, and I have 7.5s. So this is what I'm going to strive for. I'm going to go for a 7.5. I know that I could have a 7.5 here all the time. So yeah, guys, this is really the way that you can use your dressage test papers to help you work at home so that you can get better grades on dressage. But not only that, is that you, of course, are going to become a better rider because you are working on those things that are difficult for you, and not only those things that you think are difficult for you. Okay, so if you like this video and you have found it helpful, please click on that thumbs up, because you know, even if there's just one like, even the only like that I get is yours, it is very, very important for me. At least I know that I have helped someone. And I really, really hope that you're going to put into action this tip, because it has been a real game changer for me. It has helped me so much getting better rates and becoming a better rider, like all throughout. So comment down below if you do and tell me how it went. I will be seeing you on next video, guys. Bye!